unusual guest here. Yes, CEO of StockX, Josh Luber, to talk about all the great shoes that are coming up right now.
I love always like trolling and teasing him because he and I are big sports guys, so I love talking so much about that with him. Mandy Menaker, the head of PR of brand development over at Shaper, is going to be joining us. Plus, we got the CEO over at StockX. Olga is coming back. I love talking to her. She's going to talk about her company's solutions for all the small boutiques. And of course, Jordan Karcher, the founder and CEO over at Grounds and Hounds Coffee. They're going to give us some iced coffee tips, of course, because it's so hot outside. And all those other things I need to be doing in terms of drinking my iced coffee.
I know, and don't forget, our own JD Durkin is in Washington, D.C. this week. Today, he's covering the Microsoft Inspire event. Satya Nadella gave the opening remarks there. This is all about kind of B2B services, all about how Office and Windows can help these companies, and he'll have an interview from DC later on in the show as well.
All right, guys, some of the stuff we're also following today. Instagram has been a place for brands and bloggers to revel in fashion glory, thanks to its friendly editing features and glossy filter capabilities. And now you'll be able to purchase Nike items off the site in a recently announced partnership between those two companies. So joining us now, Josh Luber, CEO over at StockX. Josh, you're sitting at the ESPN desk, I see, over in Michigan. So I want to talk about the closing, about some of the other stuff you guys are doing. Closing today at $58.75 a share. I actually don't even know what's happening on this. But I want to talk about Nike selling over at Amazon. What's your take on that product, selling that on Instagram and social media?
It's about time, right? I think everyone has been waiting to sell on Instagram for forever. But what's really interesting for Nike being one of the first brands to do that is that Instagram was really at the heart of the growth of this just hyper growth we had in the sneaker market, in the resale sneaker market from 2011, 2012, 2013. The growth of sneakers and the explosion into mainstream really was a function of Instagram. And Nike very quickly at the time then got on and started releasing shoes via Twitter. So it's no surprise now that as Instagram makes it available for people to sell shoes on Instagram, that Nike's at the forefront of doing it.
Okay, I mean, Josh, Instagram has been doing a lot for businesses, I feel like, over the last few years to help them create like these storefronts. They had the carousel ads. They started adding, tags where you can, click into a picture and figure out what the product names are and then link out. So how is this different for Nike versus in the past?
Well, look, this gets down to the heart of what sneakerheads care about, right? They want to be able to show off their sneakers. They want to see what other sneakers other people have. And so if that's where all sneakerheads are congregating, if that's where fundamentally what they want to do, for Nike to be there, to say, listen, here's the pictures of the sneakers, now buy them right away. I mean, that's the goal, right? That impulse decision right there where people are looking at the glamour shots of those sneakers. So it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, let's talk about some of the hottest releases, of course, that you have your eyes on. Every time we talk with you, there's always a new Jordan sneaker that you gotta show us. This one is the Jordan 1, what is this, the Kawhi 54 for Kawhi Leonard?
No, I think it's actually pronounced K54. This is actually a long-running street ball tournament in Paris, France that Jordan has sponsored, and they've had different versions of Air Jordan K54 for years. Some of them today sell for thousands of dollars. The most recent is the Jordan 1 that just released this past weekend. It's only selling for a premium of about $100. It's selling for about $270 on StockX right now. But like a lot of these, over time, it'll also go up over value.
And what are you guys reselling that for?
Today, about $275 on StockX for the Jordan 1 K54. What's really interesting, though, is there are some older versions, like the Jordan 5 K54, that could sell for $5,000.
Wow.
I kind of like those. Those shoes are really kind of cool.
This is maybe the first time we've ever seen this specific color blocking where they're cutting the shoes in half and having, half blue, half red, and the black on the outside. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, actually, can we go to the Supreme and Louis Vuitton partnership? This shoe, I'm not as fashionable as Baker is. It's reselling on your platform right now. The bids are right now at about $1,100. Tell us about this shoe.
Yeah, well, so this shoe is part of a much larger collaboration between Louis Vuitton and Supreme that has been solely released. It came out about a couple weeks ago. There's about 50 different items. Some are sneakers, some are bags, some are backpacks. You have jerseys, you have wallets, literally about 50 different items that run the gamut. Sneakers, not surprisingly, are the ones that are selling the most on StockX. The ones that you've seen, the white with the red, the ones that are selling the most, selling for about $1,300 on StockX. But now that StockX has actually moved into watches and handbags, we're selling other products as well. So this backpack right here, this big backpack, sells for almost $6,000, right? The little one, this tiny little backpack, sells for about $3,000.
Oh my
right?
God.
So this larger collaboration between Louis Vuitton and Supreme, it's big on the secondary market.
And that's just because there are so few quantities, is that right?
Right, it all comes down to supply and demand, and in this case, demand for Louis Vuitton is high, demand for Supreme is high. You put them together and then put exclusive products, very limited, you're going to have very extreme resale values.
Okay, one of the other shoes I want to really get to is a new collaboration between New Balance and two New York-based boutique designers. Tell us about them, about this particular shoe, and what is this end swapping system with the color changes of the shoe?
Right, so this is actually Ronnie Fieg's latest shoe. It's a collaboration between Ronnie Fieg and the Dover street market. Now, Ronnie is perhaps the most ubiquitous sneaker collaborator ever. He's probably had 50, maybe 60 different collaborations with Nike, Adidas, New Balance, Asics. And so this is the latest in a long line. It's actually 3 different pairs of New Balance 574s. And what they have is the signature N on the side of the New Balance comes in different colors. So you can swap them out and put different color Ns. This is actually reminiscent of way back in the day that Converse used to do a version of this where you could slip in different discs for different colors in the Converse logo. So brands have been doing this little strategy for a long time, but it's the first time we've seen it in a while, and it's coming from Ronnie Fieg, so it's a big deal.
Okay, all right, Josh Luber, CEO of StockX, thank you as always for joining us on Cheddar.
All right, guys, coming up, the app that allows you to